Hello, folks, and welcome back to the show. I'm the Spaniard, and this episode is titled How to Be a Lean, Mean Fighting Machine. It is dedicated, it is made for athletes. I was recently asked by one of my wrestlers' moms, hey, I need help with so and so in terms of dieting, nutrition, making weight, etc. And I was wondering if you had a few tips. And I had given a version of this episode, I had given it to the guys on the team earlier in the year. And I'm recording this episode specifically for my wrestler's mom, for my wrestler, for my wrestlers, but also for athletes in general. So I grew up a wrestler, became a professional fighter. I live today with what I refer to as a fighter's mindset. I want to be in life a lean, mean fighting machine. Does that mean on the wrestling mat? Does that mean in the cage fighting? Does that mean on the football field? Does that mean on the basketball court? Of course, there are variations in sports. There are variations in nutrition protocol, what your purpose, your goal, your mission for that season. But in general, this is how I eat daily. And this is how I operate to live with that fighter's mindset that I referred to. But also, this is exactly what I'll tell my son. Right now, my son is 7 and he wrestles. If he continues to wrestle through middle school and high school, this is exactly what I'll tell him. This is how I operate. I want to make this known very clearly. I am not certified in any sort of nutrition, and I'm not certified in any sort of training. What I do have is, I don't know, 34, 35 years of experience of making weight, of performing in amateur and professional sports. So please do not incorporate any of these things into your kid's diet or routine until you talk to your doctor, certified nutritionist, etc. I am simply offering what I will offer my son and what I offer to my wrestlers in terms of making weight and feeling energy. And I have on my phone here some notes. It's kind of like a bulletin from Spaniard Purpose to provide a simple and effective guide for maintaining ideal weight and conditioning throughout the season, i.e., to be a lean, mean fighting machine. Important, I'm not certified in anything nutrition related. Take this with a grain of salt and talk with a certified nutritionist prior to implementing anything below. This is simply how I live my life. So that's the intro to it. I have 5 or 6 bullet points, and some of them include actual takeaways in terms of meals, foods, etc. I'll keep it short and simple and sweet. This is what I use on a daily basis to maintain energy, to maintain my physique, to maintain this attitude of thinking, hey, I can take on anything that's thrown at me. The first one is make single ingredient foods the vast majority of your intake. Single ingredient foods. And I've recorded episodes like this in the past with nutrition. A single ingredient food, is a Pop-Tart a single ingredient food? No. Is Cinnamon Toast Crunch? No. Is low fat so-and-so out of a box or bag single ingredient foods? No. Single ingredient foods have one ingredient, and it is that thing. If you want to think of this in terms of whole foods, I operate. So, for example, for lunch, just now I had a pork chop, a can of green beans, and an apple. Those are 3 single ingredient foods. I have really shifted my thinking. Single ingredient food hits me harder than whole food. It makes me remember, it sticks with me, it simplifies it for me. Single ingredient food, that makes up the vast majority of my diet. And I believe that it can help you become a lean, mean fighting machine while maintaining your energy level. The second bullet point is lead with protein. Lead with protein. A lot of the reason that we carry extra weight, a lot of the reason that we feel sluggish is because a lot of the food we consume are processed carbohydrates with a lot of junk in them. Now, I have operated post-fighting, really. This is when the importance to nutrition really started to play a role in my life. Oddly enough, you'd think I was paying more attention when I was fighting, but I wasn't. Fighting and wrestling was just simply about making weight. It wasn't necessarily about eating well, et cetera. It was just making weight. And I've heard this from other athletes in a variety of different ways. Sounds odd, but that's the way it was. I've tried to lean with protein in terms of like keto diet. Okay. Very few carbohydrates. My energy flops. If I only have protein, my energy flops. I don't do that. I can't do that. So the carbohydrates that I consume, the majority of them are those single ingredient foods. I also consume a lot of fruit, which you'll hear later in this episode, but make single ingredient foods the majority of your intake. Lead with protein. What does that mean? Lead with protein. That means make sure you're getting your protein in. If you're skipping meals, if you're trying to cut weight, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to trim some fat, don't skip your protein. Your protein is what's going to build on your already lean muscle that you have. Lead with protein. The majority of protein that I eat is chicken breast, boneless, skinless chicken thighs, steak, or some sort of beef, and pork chops. Those are the three most common proteins that I consume. The next bullet point is maintain carbohydrates, single ingredient carbohydrates, based on energy. I need them to lift, run, etc., or I'm out of energy, as I mentioned before. At our level, meaning I'm coaching high school wrestling, even most college athletes, at our level, I don't see how consuming whole foods could be an issue. Some people could say, there are some people who speak out against fruit and vegetables. I don't. I eat plenty of fruits. I eat plenty of vegetables. That's what I do. You hear carbs will get you fat. No, carbs will not get you fat. What will get you fat is eating terrible, processed, fake food, which is the majority of the carbohydrates we consume. Most of us at this level, high school sports and everyday people, are starting from such a poor starting point, meaning our diet is so bad that even these small increments, these small changes will enhance your diet and your energy and your mental, your mindset in general. It'll enhance it tenfold. So carbohydrates, never would I say eliminate carbohydrates, because that's what gives me energy. But make sure those carbohydrates are whole food carbohydrates. For me, a lot of that is fruits. If I don't have them, I'm out of energy. In extreme cases, extreme weight cutting, things that 99.9% of us listening are not, we are not doing that. We are not in that world. So I say, lead, maintain your carbohydrates based on energy level. Don't necessarily think of it as tipping the scale, as being too heavy, etc., and maintain it based on the level of energy that they give you. The third bullet point is be as consistent as possible. And I say this from a wrestling mindset, but for you and me who might not be wrestlers, I operate this way in my daily life. Here in my notes, I have, you can binge in March. There's a thing with wrestlers where we yo-yo in weight, where we make weight and then we get 10 or 15 pounds. I have a friend in college, wrestled 141, went home for a few days for Thanksgiving break, came back 158, 17 pounds, boom, like that. I myself have cut plenty of weight in my life and wrestling and fighting, etc. We operate with this feast and famine mentality. Oh no, I've got to make weight. Famine. Oh, I just made weight. Feast. Avoid that as much as possible. Trust me when I say I know that it's hard, but as level as you can keep it. There are some people in professional fighting and wrestling who they just yo-yo up and down, up and down. Personally, for me in my life, my philosophy, I want to be a lean, mean fighting machine 365 days of the year. I don't want to yo-yo. I don't want to think, oh, I'm fat and bloated right now. I want to think, hey, I'm ready to go whenever, wherever. It doesn't matter. And that could mean physical combat. That can mean business. That could mean opportunity. That can mean carrying my kids and playing. I want to be ready. So I stay as consistent as possible. And again, I'm not perfect, as I'm going to mention here in a little bit. But you can always binge after the season when your performance doesn't matter, if that's what you want to do. I always made sure, this same bullet point, I always made sure that I prepped for big meals in season. That meant extra workouts before and after those big meals, especially during the holidays. So Thanksgiving break, I'm losing 5 pounds before Thanksgiving dinner. Christmas morning, Christmas Eve, Christmas evening, et cetera, et cetera. I am putting in extra workouts because I knew, right, in my game plan back then, I knew, hey, I'm gonna binge right now. I really want to enjoy this meal. I still do it to this day. Is that healthy? Is that the best thing? Is that following the other protocol that I'm saying? No. But also, I'm human and many of you are human, especially your high school athletes. So I just recommend to be as consistent as possible. For me, that means today, nope, not during vacation, not during holidays, not during my birthday. I'm going to enjoy myself and I'm going to be a regular person. That being said, I never ballooned. And I never balloon because I still step on the scale to this day, every few days. I never let it get out of control. Meaning I do the extra workouts to bring my weight down before I eat the thing. and or I'll eat after it. There used to be a rhythm in my life where I would never eat a big meal without a workout. And again, that was then, this is now. I'm trying to speak to you as I will speak to my son and say, hey, Rock, it's not the best thing, man. We want to be as consistent as possible across the board. And we want to think ahead so our weight doesn't get out of control. The next bullet point is drink water daily. Now, what I will tell my son, because I'm not a doctor, I'm a parent to my son, to my daughter. I, Charlie, drink a gallon of water a day. I maintain it on a very regular basis. I carry my water bottle with me everywhere. I did a Google search before this, and I've seen anywhere from 64 ounces to 128 ounces, which is a gallon of water per day. In wrestling, we sweat a lot. It's important to get that water as well as electrolytes back into our bodies in order to maintain energy in our muscles. Drink water daily. How much water you want to drink, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, you can figure that out. You can do a Google search. You can figure that out exactly, but get used to carrying a water bottle with you all the time. I do it all the time. I instill in my kids already to do it all the time. And I told my wrestlers, if they drink, I don't know what number I said, but if they drink X water a day, then I'll eat dirt. And I think I might have to eat dirt here soon. It's so stinking impossible. That being said, when pertaining to wrestling or anything else that you need to step on a scale, it doesn't necessarily mean chug a gallon of water an hour before you step on a scale. It takes time for your body to acclimate to that water, right? If you go from drinking 0 water to drinking a gallon of water today, tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up 8 or 10 pounds heavier than you normally would. And you're going to say, Spaniard, what the heck are you doing to me? It takes time for your body to regulate itself and acclimate to that new intake of water. But once you keep drinking water on a regular basis in abundance, you will pee on a regular basis. And that is what regulates your body weight, right? But you cannot start this process right before a match, going from 0 to a gallon of water. And a day before the match, you can't consume a gallon of water because water is weight. A lot of people don't think of water as weight, but water is weight. A pound of water equals a pound of your body weight. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich, back when I would make them, weighed like 0.3, 0.4 tenths of a pound. So I knew, okay, I can eat this and I can drink that, and I'm going to gain 1.4 pounds. The water, you do have to mind it prior to your competitions. And then lastly here, I put some staple foods or meals that are in my diet. So I will tell my son, hey, bud, these are the things that I eat on a regular basis. If I were fighting professionally today, this is what I would eat. If I were wrestling today, this is what I would eat. So you, listener, can take that however you want. But these make up the majority of my individual foods and meals that I eat. I can eat consistently what other people would call boringly. I can do it because my goal, my mission, the purpose is to be a lean, mean fighting machine. And that is much more important to me than variety in what I eat, because I really enjoy the taste of these things. An example of a meal is plain Greek yogurt. Whether you have whole fat or non-fat, doesn't matter to me. I don't care personally. It's plain though. It's not flavored. There's not a lot of added sugars in it. Plain Greek yogurt with grapes and mixed berries, some crunchies. I use the Go Naked, but you can use whatever brand you want, as well as honey. And I put them all in a bowl and I mix them up, and it's amazing. Grapes, especially red grapes, I've learned to satisfy my desire for sugar. So that mixed together has a really powerful punch. It's delicious, protein, carbs, etc. Another meal is 4 eggs with fruit. Fruit could be a mixed berry variety with some grapes, or it could be an apple. I just had a delicious Honeycrisp apple for lunch, as well as mixed nuts. So 4 eggs, fruit, mixed nuts. That's a great meal, and it's a filling meal, and it's a healthy meal made up of single ingredient foods. Another meal for me, maybe a dinner time meal, is a meat. Maybe it's steak, beef, a burger without the bun, chicken, whatever. I'm going to have a protein. I'm going to have veggies, a lot of veggies, and I'm going to have a carbohydrate, which most times is rice for me. I've heard mixed reviews on brown rice or white rice. For the sake of this conversation, it doesn't matter. A potato or a sweet potato, I've heard mixed reviews on either sweet potato or regular potato. So at this level, it probably doesn't matter. And or fruit. So your plate could be made up of chicken, brown rice, potatoes, or potatoes and vegetables. That's a full meal. And that's much better than something, it's much better than an Uncrustable, put it that way. For school lunch, because this is a big thing. This is exactly what I pack my kids today who are 10 and 7, who aren't necessarily trying to be lean, mean fighting machines, but I want them to eat well. For lunches, school lunch typically looks like this: deli turkey, fruit, carrots, cucumbers, or bell peppers, or pickles, some mixed nuts, and or some Greek yogurt. For my kids, I get the light and fit. I ran these by my friend who's super duper into health, much more than I am. The Light and Fit is a decent brand. The other ones, Triple Berry, Oikos, he said, are better than the Light and Fit. My kids also do eat whole plain Greek yogurt, but it's more fun. These little containers, the flavors, it's more fun. And for where they're at and the other things they're eating, that's fine with me. So if your kid wants one of those, but that's a filling lunch: deli turkey, mixed nuts, fruit, vegetable, Greek yogurt. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of good energy and good calories. Some other add-ins that I put in there are hard-boiled eggs and or almonds. Almonds, was it Blue Diamond almonds? They have flavored almonds that are amazing. They taste amazing, and it's good energy. And then, of course, water. I drink very little other than water, and I also drink a lot of black coffee. But so all of this is under the umbrella of 80-20 mentality, meaning approximately 80% of the time, this is the system that I follow, and 20% of the time, I don't follow it. So if you see me eating pizza and wings or stuffing my face wherever, whenever, that is part of the 20% that's already within this system. For a wrestler, that might mean, hey, after weigh-ins, the day after a match, depending on when you have your next match. But I operate within this 80-20. Is it 75-25 sometimes? Probably. Is it 90-10 sometimes? Probably. But overall, I would give it an average of 80-20. The 20%, I used to have the mentality, the feast and famine. It took me a while to get rid of this, but I used to have the mentality of this 20% is feast, and I am indulging, and I'm drinking 100 ounces of Pepsi, and I am eating junk until I want to throw up. That's how I'm eating. And then I'll go back on Monday. I've much more buffered and leveled off in the last, I don't know, year-ish. But the other 20%, some of it's indulging, binging, some of it's regular pizza, pasta, whatever, without feeling like I want to throw up. I'm not intent on stuffing my face. Yeah. So that's a good overview of my system. Again, the bullet points: make single ingredient foods the vast majority of your intake. Lead with protein. Maintain carbohydrates, single ingredient carbohydrates based on energy. Be as consistent as possible. If you feel a need to binge, wait till after the season or wait till after a match. Drink water daily. Again, I've seen anywhere from 64 to 128 ounces. And then you can rewind a little bit for the staple foods in my diet. That right there, the foods and meals, honestly, I bet that's, I don't know, at the very least 70% of what I eat, probably 80%. Might have forgotten some things, but there you have it. There's my guide to being a lean, mean fighting machine, made specifically for wrestling. But I think you, parent, listening to this right now, I think we could all be a lot better at whatever we do, i.e. life, by following this plan. It's what I follow. I'm sure I'll ebb and flow and evolve in time, but this is where I'm at right now. I like how I look. I like how I feel. I like how I speak. I like how I am in general. So if you're looking for a guide as well, not just for your young athlete, I think this can help you as well. So thank you all for tuning in. This is The Spaniard Show. I'm The Spaniard. I have several podcasts: The Spaniard Show, which you're listening to, which is for you, episodes like this. I have Spaniard School, and I have Read with a Fighter, which are both directed towards students. And I have young reader books available as well. All that can be found at charliespaniard.com. Thanks for tuning in.